Hey guys, so as we have been working on describing the formation of ions, today along those lines I have a lab for us to do. We're going to look at a few different kinds of tests that we can do to test for certain types of ions, and specifically they're anions. So let's go take a look at what we're going to be doing for that. Okay, so I have here, here's a little spot plate that I have, and we've got a whole bunch of different chemicals in this lab. Okay, I've got 7 here in front of me. So here we have some lithium chloride. Here we have some sodium iodide. Here I've got some potassium sulfate. This here is sodium carbonate. And what we're going to do is we're going to take each of these 4 and we're going to put them in some of the wells along here. I'm going to put the lithium chloride in 3 of them. I'm going to put the sodium iodide in 3 of them, and so forth, right? And then what I have 3 more here. This here is some silver nitrate. We'll expose each one to silver nitrate and see how it reacts to silver nitrate. Now, if you're working on this like in the classroom, be careful with the silver nitrate. It will stain your skin, not permanently, but it'll stain it temporarily. I usually end up with some spots on my skin from every time we do this lab. It usually lasts a week or 2, and then it goes away. I also have here some nitric acid. We'll expose each of these to the nitric acid and see how they react to the nitric acid. And then I have also some barium nitrate, and we'll expose each one to the barium nitrate, see how it reacts to that. And then, in one of these wells, I'm going to put an unknown. I'm going to put one of these that we don't know, and we will use our 3 tests there, our 3 test chemicals to try to figure out which one is that unknown. So let's go ahead and set that up, and we will get to it. Let's see, I hope you can see this pretty well. I've got my computer in a very odd angle trying to get a good shot of the spot plate. So here I have my spot plate, and I have sheet of paper underneath it, and kind of the columns and the rows are labeled with the different chemicals that we're going to put in here. So let me go ahead and start adding them to their wells. Here I have my lithium chloride, and I'm going to put some lithium chloride in the first column. We need about 3 wells, maybe, a quarter to a halfway full. Okay, and then in the second column there, you see I have NaI, that is sodium iodide. So let me add some sodium iodide to these 3 wells. I think the instructions call for a few drops, or it might tell you specifically, but really we just need a quarter to a halfway full, something like that. And the third one I have here, K2SO4, that is potassium sulfate. Here I have my potassium sulfate. I'll put that in these 3 wells. Alright, and then the last one I have on here is sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate. Here's my sodium carbonate. I'm going to add that to 3 wells here. Okay. Now I have here some unknown, and I'm going to put the unknown in 3 wells right here. And our task is to decide which one of these 4 is the unknown. Okay. Let's see, across this first row, if you check out the instructions, it tells us to add some silver nitrate into these wells. So I'm going to put silver nitrate into these 4, and I'm going to see what happens there. And we're going to be careful with the silver nitrate so as not to get it on our skin. So I'm going to add a little silver nitrate to the first one. And I hope you can see some white cloudy stuff formed in there. So I'm add it to the second one here. And I hope you can see some yellow cloudy stuff formed in there. Add it to the potassium sulfate here, and nothing has happened. And I'll add it to the sodium carbonate here, and you can see some white stuff formed in there. So let me add it to the unknown, and we see some white stuff formed in there. So this looks like it could be the lithium chloride. It also looks like it could be the sodium carbonate. The directions further tell us to go ahead and take some nitric acid. I have some nitric acid here, and add it to the different wells here. The nitric acid may help some of the stuff that formed to redissolve. So you can see in this one, in the sodium carbonate, the nitric acid has made that white stuff go away. So let's try this here. Hey, look at that. The white stuff went away in the unknown. That looks very much like it might be sodium carbonate. But let's continue on and let us try the next test here. It says the barium nitrate test, BaNO32. And I have here some barium nitrate, and I'm going to add that to the wells in the second column. So I'm going to add it to the lithium chloride and see what happens. Not much, maybe a little bit of white stuff formed in there. Added to the sodium iodide, and I don't see anything happening. Potassium sulfate, we definitely got some white stuff forming there. And then to the sodium carbonate, we got some white stuff formed in there. So let me add it to the unknown, and we got some white stuff in there. So basically that formed white stuff in everything but the sodium iodide. And again, the directions tell us to take some nitric acid and put it in each of those three wells and see if that white stuff doesn't go away. So let me put some in here, and nothing happened. In here, this one didn't have white stuff anyway. Put some in here, nothing happened. Put it in the sodium carbonate. And it looks like that white stuff is going away. A little bit left on the top, but most of it's gone away. Put it in the unknown. And again, there, most of that white stuff has gone away, but yeah. So again, this barium nitrate test makes it look very much like this stuff is sodium carbonate. Nice. Okay. So on the next part, this is the formation of a gas test. Now they want us to put just nitric acid into each of the wells and see if a gas is produced. It should be pretty obvious. We should get bubbles if a gas is produced. So I'm going to take my nitric acid again, and I'm going to put it in each of these wells. So I'm going to put some in here, and I don't see any bubbles. There's no gas produced there. I'm going to put it in the sodium iodide, and there's no bubbles going on there. There's not a gas being produced. Let's put it in the potassium sulfate, and again, no bubbles, nothing. Let's put it in the sodium carbonate, and there were some bubbles formed, and you might have even heard it form some bubbles. So in the sodium carbonate, it formed bubbles. So let's try in the unknown. Again, I can see bubbles, and you might have even heard it kind of fizzing a little bit there. So all three tests, that looked very much like sodium carbonate. If you're doing the lab in class, you might have a different unknown. It might be one of these other ones. It might be something different. So you have to look at the different tests and say, which one is most like your unknown? Alright guys, so hopefully that helps us to be able to describe the formation of ions. Nice neat little lab. If you're doing it in class, then it's obviously going to take a little bit longer than watching the video. But yeah, until next time, have a good day.